All right, hope everybody's having a great Tuesday night. Chief Meteorologist Ben Jones here. Just giving you a little chat update on what we expect for Friday morning. Now, it's still a couple of days away, so anything that I say here tonight is definitely not written in stone. I know you hear us say this kind of thing all the time, but even more so than with severe weather events like tornado or severe thunderstorm outbreaks, things like that. These are so difficult to forecast, these winter systems that come down into our wheelhouse. So anything I show you, definitely subject to change. Here's future view. This is going to be the graph model. Okay, and I'm going to show you a couple of different models. Let's see if we can get this one to go forward. Here we go. This will take us into tomorrow afternoon. See up here, this is the graph model. So I'll show you this one. We'll do the GFS American model, the Euro, and then the NAM. And eventually, once we get on into Thursday, we'll be able to get into the high-res model, which is more of like a 1 day, day and a half out, 2 days maybe. So that'll help. Okay, so there's Wednesday, quiet. We get into Thursday, still nothing going on. So again, during all this time, the models can change back and forth. This is as of, again, 9 o'clock here on Tuesday night, January 7th, 2025. You can see green and pink, and then the white to purple shaded areas. So obviously this in here is going to be rain, heavier, steadier rain in the yellow. And then up in here, the white is going to be usually snow flurries. And once it starts to get into the darker colors, that's heavier and heavier snow. So if you start to get stuff like that lined up in your area, then you know you got a pretty good shot at seeing some decent snowfall. This, however, in the middle is just that. It's in the middle. What is it? It's not rain, it's not snow. It's sleet or freezing rain, or kind of a mix of both. Let's go forward. First of all, let's look though. This is, again, as of this time. This timing may change, and a lot of this may change. All of where this pink is. This could all get shoved up toward the north as we go through the next couple of days, and it turns out that it's just a rain event for us Friday. Or it could drop down a little bit, and then all of a sudden we're looking at a sleet, freezing rain, plus maybe some snow in our northern counties. Let's go forward. This is around 7 in the morning. So we're seeing some of the pink, really all over the place. Now, not all models have it that far south. But again, if you're wanting some sort of wintry weather, then this is what you want to see, all the way down past Cordele even on this. And then this shows a few flurries in our northern counties, and then mainly north of I-20. As long as I've been doing this, the usual setup for all this is usually, let's see if I can find something on here to draw this. Okay, so usually it's always like above that line is snow. That line and above is kind of sleet, freezing rain. And then anything that is to the south of that here is usually all just rain. It seems like it always sets up that way. So to see the pink, which is usually up in here, this far south is kind of interesting. So again, that could be sleet, freezing rain, or both. At this point, any accumulation of sleet or freezing rain, too early to tell on any of that sort of thing. And again, it may not pan out this way. This is just what we know tonight. All right, so let's go forward. That's 7 in the morning. There's around 9. Now what you're going to start to see from here is the pink as we get into the daytime hours, and supposedly we're going to warm up. Although some models have it as barely above freezing during the day Friday. If that happens and we go a little bit above freezing, you'll start to see from the south to the north this change over into more green. So now you're looking at rain by the time we get into lunchtime here, and definitely more as we get into the afternoon. But also keep in mind too that we are in the short days, so not a lot of sunshine, and then we go back cold again. The question is going to be, do we go back Friday night to freezing again so that whatever does fall here refreezes? We'll have to see. So I think at this point it's a slam dunk, at least so far, as much as there can be one for a southern winter system, for North Georgia to see some snow, maybe a couple inches of snow up that way. North of I-20, Atlanta's kind of in the maybe some snow, maybe some sleet or freezing rain, and then we are kind of in the could have sleet, freezing rain that could turn into rain. So it doesn't sound like at this point building snowmen, but it could be a little bit messy out there if it plays out this way. So let's go back again if you're just jumping in. This is Friday, 6, 7 in the morning. Again, the pink shaded area is going to be where there's a wintry mix. Not necessarily rain, not necessarily just snow either. And again, as we go through 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, you can see it kind of hanging around, but then starting to kind of turn to rain as we go through the middle of the day into the afternoon. All right, let's go on over to the GFS model. And what you see there is sort of a similar scenario. When you get in these long-range models, they're not as sort of, the resolution's not there as much. You can see that it's more blobby. So for this, yes, it does show some snow lightly here. This is early Friday morning, kind of a mix here. And the rain, not so much here yet. Let's go forward. Still at noon, same kind of thing. So this would be interesting. We'll see how this goes. It's kind of playing along somewhat similarly to what the graph was saying. There's around 2 in the afternoon. Notice still more snow up this way. 3 or 4 in the afternoon, and then it does have it sort of switching on over into rain. Now, another thing to keep in mind is, where is the center of circulation going to be for the area of low pressure? Wherever that thing is spinning and sets up, if it were to be more to our south here, that puts us in a much more favorable location for seeing wintry weather, either the frozen, freezing rain, sleet, or snow. If this thing tracks a little farther toward the north, that puts us in the center to southern side of it, so it mainly looks like just rain for us. That part we still don't really know. Friday night, you can see there, and then clearing on out. All right, let's go to the European model. This one shows a little bit of the pink there again, so you're talking about maybe some sleet or freezing rain, more of the snow stuff here in North Georgia. Still at mid-morning to lunchtime there. Again, you can't get locked in on this and say, oh, there's snow in that one little area because there's a white blob. The next model run may look totally different than this. This could all be green on the next one and show absolutely nothing for us. Or that pink could carve way down here, and then you see some of the white with snow down here. Still a couple of days to go on this. And then the trend seems to be that as we go through the day, regardless of what comes down, then we start to kind of change over into rain. All right, let's go to the NAM model, North American model. This is going to show us a similar scenario, although this one kind of goes a little bit farther north. You'll notice, as I said when we first started talking here, that I usually see a setup where it's mainly rain for most of our area, and then maybe a little thin strip of maybe sleet or freezing rain here, and then snow to the north. And that's kind of how this looks. There's in the afternoon. So if you go by this model so far, it's not all that impressive. It's maybe just some wintry mix in our northern counties, rain everywhere else. Let's talk about the numbers. This is short term, obviously not dealing with anything tonight. We'll say 20s tonight, 40s tomorrow. There is tomorrow morning, 20s again, or Thursday morning, I should say. Thursday afternoon in the 40s, and then this takes us into overnight into Friday morning. So you see a 31 here, and follow that number as I go forward, 32, so there's 4 in the morning. I mean, you're right around it, 33, 34, 35 in the afternoon. So that's kind of interesting there. I mean, you're talking about we're pretty close, even as we get through the middle of the day. So, a lot of things can change. Again, if this low is spinning farther toward the south here, and if we have a better temperature profile as far as cold air up and down the column from the surface all the way up, then you have a better shot at seeing something like snow. But again, it's very early, and if you're not from around this area, it is like finding a needle in a haystack trying to nail this down. And don't let anybody tell you that they have it figured out on Tuesday night. Nobody does. Everything at this point is dealt with words like confidence. What's the confidence level in this model, or what's the confidence level in that model? So right now we would say high confidence for North Georgia, seeing some snow. Once you get south of Atlanta and I-20, it is low confidence for what we could see. I would let you know if I were at a medium confidence area, but the weather team in here, we've been chewing it around, and we're not there yet. Hopefully tomorrow we'll get a better look. Again, here's the graph model. At least we're within the 3-day range of this one. Again, this one, trustworthy model. They all are on different levels. If you're wanting to see some sort of wintry weather, then this is what you kind of want to see. You want to see at least the pink down here. Now, if you want to build a snowman, then you want this, and that does not look to be down here at this point. So what this can also set up to be, as you know, there is sleet and there is freezing rain, and then you can have like icing, sort of ice storm situations with power lines and tree limbs and all that. Hopefully that's not the case with this, because that's not any fun at all. Nobody likes that. So right now, if I had to take a stab at it, I would say probably sleet with no accumulation, maybe some freezing rain. But the fact that our temperatures are so close at this point in the models to freezing, it kind of makes me wonder if this could go, it could go either way. Because I'm looking here on a sheet for overnight Thursday night into Friday morning. So I showed you the graph model had us at 31, kind of around this time to 32. GFS has us around this time at 34 on that last run. Euro 29, and then some other blend models at around 24 that morning. So if we're at 24 here and everything's set up right, you may see more of this color down here. Too early to tell. Isn't that a bummer? So let's go to questions. Let's see. No snow, period. Greetings from Portland, Oregon. Oh, yeah, I get it. Alicia Elliott. Interesting hot take. Blizzard of 93, so it's long overdue. Quick math, 32 years. It's so cold in Florida too. Yeah, this is a humdinger of a cold front that came through. Ashley killing some dreams here. Yeah, it happens. Well, I mean, it's only Tuesday night. I mean, things can totally change. By the time we get into Thursday, we may be whistling a different tune. We may be saying, you know what? Upon further reflection, upon further review, the call on the field is reversed. We're thinking more snow. We'll have to wait and see. Let me go back to the graph model again. Unfortunately, I don't have a whole lot I can show you, so it's mainly just kind of answering questions. I mean, a new model run will be coming out in the next hour for this graph. So we'll see. Hold on a second. Maybe this is the new one. This could be some of the new data coming in here now. So let me stop it. Excuse me. I had a good point right here to show you. Well, let's see if I can get it to stop right there. Okay. So again, you're talking about three different things. So just so refresher, so if we don't see these maps very often here, so snow, rain, the in-between. And that's always the case here. We're always in between unless your name is 1973. That was a weird one, and not one that's very likely to happen, obviously very often. So it's either, hey, northern counties may see a flurry, everybody else maybe some sleet or freezing rain, and then rain to the south. All right, let's see if I can catch up on the quiet. Well, I'm way behind. William, that's a good take right there with your cooling scenario. I was talking in here about that earlier. Sometimes you'll see where just the drag of the precip as it's coming down, you pull a lot of the cool air down for one thing, but secondly, if you can get enough of something on the ground, it seems like that's been my observation before, that sometimes you can get the atmosphere, it sort of supports itself. once it gets to a certain point. We're already going to have very cold temps on the ground because one thing going in our favor, if you want something like this to happen, and if we were to have something like snow to get it to stick, is you need not warm ground. And a lot of times in this situation, we'll have like a normal average run of days, and then one of these things will come in. We will have been coming off a lot of nights in the 20s where the surface is already very cold and not very much heat during the daytime this week. So if you have that thrown into the mix, and then whatever is laying on the ground, if something's sleet or it's freezing rain or if it's some snow in there or whatever, then you have the surface is even more loaded up with cold for things to maybe stick some more. We don't deal with a whole lot of wintry weather down here, so a lot of times it feels like you're just throwing something up against the wall to see if it'll stick here, because this stuff can change on a dime. A lot of times we don't really fully know until we get into about an hour before the thing happens. See Atlanta, however many years ago that was. Let's see. Brandon, nice. Ben, let it snow 5 feet in Culloden. We're way overdue here. Whew. That's asking a lot there, Brandon. Talking about school closings here. I wouldn't be surprised to see some school closings. I'm definitely not recommending anything like that. I made that mistake years ago. Oh no, Vivian, I'd like to see something different. I enjoy sleeping on an air mattress. It's a lot of fun. Tee. Yeah, let me go ahead and address that one. Chris Dinkins, Weather Channel showing snow for Friday the 17th. Don't buy into that. I saw that. Sure, anything could happen 10 days out, but a lot of those apps you're looking at with those numbers that are on there generated for highs and lows, and if you notice, look back at them pretty often, they're changing all the time. That's not a person putting those numbers in. So try not to get too locked in on those if you see them. Oh, Raymond, yeah, I forgot I had the screen pause. Which is pink, which is purple? Yep, okay, so snow here, this is all rain here, and this is that wintry mix thing in the middle. If you're just joining us, I will back it up and go forward. So this would be Friday morning early. Yeah, I think this is new model data here now, because this shows it definitely farther toward the south, a little more consistent here. So again, this is where, you know, you're not going to have rain, and then all of a sudden there's just instant snow. There's got to be that something in between, which is where we live all the time whenever these things come through. If this is right, though, there could be a little snow, Monroe, Jones, Jasper, Putnam, parts of Baldwin, and I'm drawing right along a line that is probably not going to exist on the next model run. So again, important to just keep it loosey-goosey right here. We're just talking about possibilities this far out. And if it plays out the way this is showing, this is not a snow event. This is a sort of messy, sleet, possibly freezing rain on surfaces sort of thing for us if this is the way it plays out. Wintry mix, is that icy conditions? Yeah, that could be icy conditions, yeah. What you really don't, what you don't want, because then if we go through the whole day, let's go out farther here. This takes us into 2 in the afternoon. Let's say that this does switch over to rain. And where's my trusty notepad? If we go Friday night, Some models have us Friday night into Saturday morning staying above freezing. There are some that have us right or close to it or maybe a little below. Then you've got the problem of, does any of this stuff refreeze again Friday night? Hold on, let me look at something here. All right, so there's one at 31, Friday night into Saturday morning. 30, Friday night into Saturday morning. So then the Euro is at 35 Saturday morning. So if that's the case, then refreeze would not be a thing we would be worried about. GFS 33 Saturday morning. That's very close. So we're so close on it. And if you've ever stuck with me on any of these systems over the years as they've come through, a lot of times if it looks like a really marginal call, I'll say, look, I'm not really expecting much out of this, guys, but maybe in a northern county it's kind of a novelty thing, something like that, that it would be neat if you saw something other than rain. So far, this one's setting up to not be a blizzard, but definitely better potential for something other than rain is the best way of saying it. I don't know if you ever tried to build a sleet man or a freezing rain man, but it's not much fun. But if you're wanting some kind of wintry weather, that's a pretty good look for something. I mean, you'd rather it look like that if you really wanted snow. Back to the comments, just a few more minutes, and then I got to get ready for the 10 o'clock show on the old CW channel. Let's see, I get this question a lot. Kathy, just joined. Which model is most accurate, Euro or GFS? All models have strengths in different categories and different seasons and times of the year. And sometimes sometimes it's kind of, how's it been doing lately? You know, I mean, it can be a certain season and you say, well, such and such model's really been performing pretty well here lately. I think we can trust this one, or, you know, or this one's been out to lunch here, right, you know, lately on temps or whatever. And so right now there's not one that we're kind of leaning in more on the other. Now, once we get through this event, by the time we get into Saturday and Sunday, we'll look back and kind of make note which one was closer. So if we get another event like this season, we'll kind of look a little closer on that one. That's a good question, Kathy. There's pink under some of the green. What's that mean? Yeah, that is just some sort of error in there, because that wouldn't make any sense to have it frozen down here underneath that. It shows up sometimes on the models. I really don't know what that is or why it's doing that. Because it's definitely not like it goes warm here and then freezing again here. So just kind of overlook that. Black ice, yeah, I hope not. See a lot of slipping and sliding. Yeah, we hope that's not the case. Haha, Ed, is the Canadian model too much to ask for? I don't know if they will cancel school for Friday. I don't know that. Hunter says if the low was to move farther south than expected, what would that mean for us? So it would be a much better chance of all of this, or even snow. Yeah, so where that low tracks is very important too. If you want snow, you want that thing to stay kind of in the panhandle of Florida, you know, farther south. Kelly, just tuning in. What's pink and purple? Okay, so once again, we don't see these maps very often, so that's a great question. This is what you're used to seeing. Light green is rain, yellow is steadier rain, getting into the oranges and red is heavier rain. All of this kind of gives the matter of fact, I could turn the cloud. This is all cloud cover here, by the way. The white is going to be kind of light snow, and then the bolder those colors get, the heavier the snow. It's in the middle, which is what we're looking at so far, is that mix of sleet or freezing rain, what we call a wintry mix is just the best way to refer to it as. Where we would get some phone calls saying, hey, I see a few flurries here, or no, it's nothing but pinging off the metal roof on my porch here, or now it's starting to freeze on the railing of my porch, and there's also a flurry in there, that kind of thing. Are storms heading towards Baldwin County after the wind treatment? No, we're not looking for any storms in this. This is not a severe weather event like that. So Lawrence County will just be cold, no snow. I don't know that right now. I know that it'll be cold and something will be falling from the sky, but there could be some sleet or freezing rain, something like that. And again, we'll know a lot better tomorrow and definitely by the time we get into Thursday. And I know you're saying, well, of course you will by Thursday. The thing's Friday morning, but that's the way it rolls down here, man. I mean, because we just don't see it that often and things can change so much. And it has to be set up just right for us to get some sort of wintry weather. You got to have the cold air in place and then precip run into it. I don't know how many times I've told my daughter, she's always like, you know, hey, it's January and there's rain coming in. That's going to be snow. I'm like, no. Everything has to line up just right. That's the reason it's so rare here. And the models are doing everything they can to figure out where all this is going to fall. Okay, we'll do 3 more minutes. Oh, I'm way behind on comments. Let's see. Let's see, wintry mix is my least favorite choice. Yeah, I agree with you on that. You don't want that. Let's see, when will the map update again? Well, all the different models are on different schedules. Some hours apart, some not as much. Once we get into Thursday, we'll be able to get into the high-res model, which will be much better for us because you can get an hourly update on that. No, the sleeves are not rolled up. It is cold in this studio, so I'm leaving them down. Yeah, that's a good point, Tanya. Don't go buy all the bread and milk, please. Why is it always bread and milk? Do you think Macon will treat the road? Well, yeah. I mean, they'll all do whatever they have to do once we get closer. I mean, I know all those guys at a lot of these EMA places, and they're always Johnny on the spot, ready to do whatever needs to be done. So don't worry about that. All right, everyone, thank you so much. We'll do more of these as we go through the day tomorrow. And you can watch us at 10 o'clock on our CW channel, 11 o'clock on our main channel. And I gotta say, each hour that goes by, each day that goes by, we'll get a much better take on this. But I would say that Friday is looking interesting for us. That's the way I would put it. All right, have a good night. We'll see you.